So I'm turning 30 and I thought I'll start this video in a fun way by showing a picture of myself when I was younger. Yay! And then you have me. I don't know if we look alike. If I've changed much, I'm not so sure. Anyway, I don't think I have. Hey, hi guys, welcome to my channel. So if you're new here, my name is Shina. I'm a chef based here in Kenya. Cook for people in their homes and I offer cooking classes. But the point of this video is we're talking about me turning 30, and usually I share recipes on Friday, but for this month of September, since it's my birthday month, I'm going to be changing that up a bit. So I'm going to be doing some Q&A. So if you guys actually have any questions regarding cooking or maybe life in general or whatever questions might come out from this video, let me know in the comments down below and I'll be answering them this month. So yes, like I said, I am turning 30, and I'll be honest, I never thought I'll turn 30. It's like, yes, you hear about it and people tell you you're going to turn 30, but it's like it's always so far away. You're always like, but it's far, it's fine. Like you don't fully internalize you're going to turn 30. And for me, I didn't fully internalize it. Even this year, as I'm 29, yes, I'm still 29 until I officially turn 30 in a few days. So even this year, it didn't fully hit me that I'm going to actually be turning 30. For me, 30 is like the age now I become an adult. That's how I see it. Like, yes, I know you're meant to be an adult when you're 18, 21 and throughout your 20s, but to me it's like when I'm turning 30 right now, it's like, oh my god, I'm really an adult. Like, I am really an adult. And that may sound very lame, but it's just how I feel or how I look at things. I don't know what to say. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 15 lessons that I've learned along the way. So we're going to get started, and I'm looking down my phone because that's where I put down the notes. So the first lesson I'm going to start with is embrace your background. And basically what I mean by that is that along the way, you just learn that you have to appreciate like what background you've grown up in or whatever background you come from. So sometimes we're always wishing that you didn't come from a certain family, or your family had certain things, maybe like certain wealth, maybe you're like from a not well-off background, so you're always wishing for the things you don't have. So regardless of what background you're from, whether you're from like a wealthy family, a middle-class family, a not so well-off background family, whether you're from like a single parenthood, mixed parenthood, is that a word? Mixed parenthood. Okay, you get my parents, like if both your parents are there. Mixed parent. What was the word in school? Nuclear family. Yeah, that's the word. Nuclear family. Yes. Yes, so you have both your parents. Anyway, yes, extended family. or now that I've learned the new word, blended family. For some reason, I never knew that was a word, blended family, because that's what we grew up in, but we never called it a blended family. It was just, we're all family. That's what it was. It was no blended. I don't know whether that's a term that's just come up or it's just always been there. I didn't know about it, but to be honest, I've learned about that word blended this year. I didn't know about it. So yeah, embrace the family background you're from. Just embrace it. Okay, point number 2. It's okay to take your own path. So I know most of us, sometimes you strive with just being told what to do, or what your parents want for you, or what your relatives want for you. There's always someone in society, or maybe what your teachers see of you, or maybe what your friends see you being. There's always something, there's always some sort of pressure that wants you to be a certain way. And I just feel like it's good to take your own path. Like, it's fine. Like, don't be so harsh on yourself for taking your own path, of being so afraid or being so caught up what everyone else is going to think. Just give yourself permission to take your own path. And also, this comes from my own personal experience in terms of, if anyone out there is from other than the pressure of just the family and society, if you have a family business and there's certain pressure to just get into the family business, but get into it with a plan. So it's like, most times your parents, honestly, they want the best for you. And if you're from a background with like a family business, or if you're, what do you call it, blessed that your family has a family business and you can just get into it without having to go through much struggle in life, you honestly should be appreciative of that. And I really am. But sometimes you just want to carve out your own path and your parents don't fully understand that. So you just have to be set on what you want, and when you go into it, just go with it in a plan. That way, when your parents see that you have a plan, like for me it was cooking, yeah, and I've already gotten the school, this is where I'm going to go, this is what the fees is, like you've already shown them the structure of what the school is going to be charging, what the fees is, where it is. You're going there with a plan, you're showing them this is what I want to do. So they're likely to be, because you're going in in with a plan. They're seeing you're determined about it, so it's a lot easier to get your parents on board or to get your family or your guardian on board. But sometimes if that's not an option, then yeah, maybe you have to do what you have to do. But to be honest, I've had a very supportive family, and I'm honestly very grateful and very happy that I've had such a family, and just very thankful, because I know not everyone has that, so I'm very thankful for that. Okay, so point number 3, doing what you love. Yeah, the dream of doing what you love. So let me get into this. So basically, there's this whole kind of like notion or myth that when you do what you love, you don't really work, and maybe to some extent that's true, but not quite. Like, I'll be honest, personally for me, that was cooking. I went into cooking, I wanted to cook. It was that simple. And when I went into it, like, I knew that's what I wanted to do. But then the fact that I didn't fully work in a normal conventional kitchen after I did my internship, like, I kind of just went on my own, just cooking for different clients, and I knew that's a path I wanted to go into. But that didn't mean that it was just, oh, here are the clients for you. Like, you had to put in extra work that you didn't think of. So for me, like I said, I liked cooking. Cooking was my passion. It was everything. I like being immersed in food and just being immersed in the process of cooking. I feel at peace. It's like therapeutic when you're cooking. For me, it's therapy. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I just feel alive. It makes me feel happy. So anyway, yeah, so for me, one of the things that you realize you have to learn by going out on your own is that you have to do things that you don't really want to do, or roles that you don't see yourself doing. So for example, accounting, you have to do accounting. You have to figure out how to market, how to get clients. You have to figure out how to ask for a deposit from the client. These are skills like no one tells you about, so you have to figure that out. You have to figure out how to set contract. You have to figure out how to draw contracts for the clients, and then you also have to figure out where you're going to be getting the clients from. So there's like a whole process behind the scenes that you don't really see. So just because you're doing what you love, it doesn't mean that you're not going to do other things or other tasks that you don't fully like or fully enjoy just because you're doing what you love. So number 4, growing up means taking responsibility for your life and also being mindful of others. And that just for me means it's kind of like everything. For me, responsibilities, I'll be honest, sometimes there's certain responsibilities you don't want to do, you don't want to take, but if you're able to, then you kind of just take them up. So for example, that's like, let's say, taking care of relatives. If you have a relative who's not well off, or they're sick or something like that, maybe this could be like a grandmother, like someone who's really old, like 70, 80, and they're just in need of financial help and maybe no one else can help. It's one of the things you realize you now have a financial strain too. So it's just something that there's certain responsibilities that come up with being older that you don't really plan for or no one really mentions. It's just kind of there, and just being the good person that you are, you just do it. Some things you just do it. If you can, you do it. If you can't, then that's when maybe someone else will pick it up. But it's just another thing of just taking responsibility or being more aware of responsibilities that you might just take up. And then also being mindful of other people. This is going to be different from now. It's still part of take responsibility, but a bit different, because when you're younger, one of the things remember, this is like when we'll go out, and back then, like most times, if you're a student, you've been given pocket money, so you have like a set amount that you're planning to spend that night. And the fact that you asked whoever was going out is because you intend to cost share the transport of getting there. So when someone just doesn't decide to pay for the drinks and they assume you're going to pay for it, then it's like another financial burden that you're not planned for. And also, on being mindful about others, just make sure that if you're going out with a friend, just ask beforehand, so that if you're splitting the bill, you know. So make sure you communicate. Don't just assume because you're going for dinner or lunch that your friend is buying the lunch or the dinner. Just communicate. So just communicate and to be mindful. If you're splitting the bill, then you know in advance. Okay, moving on. Number 5. So declutter your life. This one, I'll be honest, I'm not very good at. Honestly, if anyone knows me, I'm a hoarder of things. I like having stuff. I just hold on to it. And the funny thing is that I'm not even a shopper. I don't like shopping or going out and buying things. I don't enjoy it unless it's like kitchen stuff or like kitchen equipment. That's a different story. That I like to do. But for just general things, I'm not really big on shopping. So when it comes to clutter, I just don't get rid of old stuff that I've had. So I have stuff since I was like in high school, which is not a good thing. So Decluttering is just something I'm trying to get into, and I'm not there yet. It's something that maybe it can help someone who's younger once you know about decluttering, because what happens, it's not only the stuff that's around your house. What starts to happen is that the clutter starts to get into your mind as well, and so it just kind of starts to interfere with your thinking, is how to put it. So every time you're thinking of something, it's like it takes you longer to decide. You become a bit more indecisive, and that's just because I think of the environment and the clutter all around you. It starts to seep in, and it's not a good thing. So once you're aware, do your best to just start simplifying your life and getting rid of things, which is currently what I'm trying to be better at. Okay. So point number 6 is on mental health, and I'm going to be addressing this from the perspective of a guardian or someone who's taken care of someone going through mental health, because most times this topic is addressed from the person who's going through the mental health illness or going through that struggle. And so I thought I'll touch on a bit from a guardian or a parent perspective. If you have someone or know someone who's going through mental health challenges, the one tip for me I would give you as a guardian or someone who's gone through it, having a family member going through that, is just, one, educate yourself. Most people don't educate themselves. So what I'll say is just educate yourself. Try and learn as much as you can about the type of mental health illnesses that are out there. Once you educate yourself, you come to learn that there's more to mental health. So there's like the depression part of it, and the depression is further broken down into subcategories. We have bipolar, you have bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Then from there, there's also other categories where you have manic depressive, hypermanic depressive. So it goes on. So just try and educate yourself. It's honestly the best thing you could do for yourself. And to be honest, all you have to do is just Google or YouTube. You'll get loads of information so you can know how to help someone. So once you've educated yourself, the next thing you can do is do everything you can, like in your power or in your resources, to try and support the person to the best of your ability, and just also show them that you care and that you love them. On top of that, you could go the extra mile and just try to understand the process. Like I said, educate yourself. So just try and understand their thought process. That way when you have a conversation with them, or when they're having like a very low moment, you know how to converse with them. So one of the things you're told, like in therapy, if you've gone for like a family therapy, one of the things you're told is that the way they see things with your world, we see it much deeper, but sometimes to them they can see it as just as a face value, and they might take whatever you say at face value and add on meaning to it that's really not there. And most times it's always negative thoughts. So you kind of try and stop that. So one of the things you could do, if you have your conversation with someone and they're low and you can tell they're low, so if you're trying to get them to just go for a walk that day and they've woken up and decide to shower, that's like a good day. And you're trying to get them for a walk, like that's a huge achievement, because they've gotten ready. And yeah, and you compliment them. So for me, one of the tips I would say is just give more to the compliment. Because for example, you could say, oh my god, I love your lipstick. Oh my god, that lipstick looks so good on you. And it's a genuine compliment. But sometimes, depending on the zone the person is in, the way they receive that comment could be something like, oh, you love my lipstick today. Why is she saying she loves my lipstick today? Queenie, the other days she doesn't like it. So that means the other times when I've been wearing my other red lipstick, she never liked it. Since she was today, she likes it, and today I'm wearing the pink lipstick. Like they go into a spiral and they start thinking about everything. Into it was a genuine comment and you don't think of it that way, but to them they take it deeper than you realize. So to counteract their negative thoughts, one of the things you could do is just, when you make the comment, just add something positive to it, or a memory to it, like a good memory to it. So for example, you could say, oh my god, I love that pink lipstick. It reminds me of your birthday last year when we went and we swam and we did all these things. Oh, it was so much fun. Like you've already associated like a good positive image to the time she wore that lipstick. So then the person is likely to engage back with you and be like, oh my god, yeah, it was. You'll get them into a conversation, you'll get them talking, so they'll no longer be in the state, they'll still be in the state they were, but they'll not take the negative thought from your compliment, because you'll have taken their thoughts away from there. So you'll have kind of steered the conversation into a positive light. Basically, you've just given more depth and positive energy to the compliment. So that's something I would highly suggest you do. Just try to be more mindful and to bring more positivity into the person's life. Now, the next thing you could do, if you've already educated yourself, shown the person you love them, try to bring positive vibes to them. One thing you could do for yourself is also just learn that it's okay to love the person from a distance. And that's just because sometimes, yes, the negative thoughts that the person is going through, that energy, you can start to feed off it, and to be honest, it can get heavy after a very long time. So you need to take care of yourself, and it's good if you just be aware of that it's okay for you to do that. It's okay to just send a message and just check in and say, hey, I was just checking in. You don't always have to be there. It's okay for you to send a quote that you saw that might help the person. It's okay for you to send them like a music video that you thought was fun, or like an inspirational quote, or like a motivational quote. It's okay for you to love the person from a distance, and for you to be there from a distance so that you can support the person, so that you're able to take care of yourself, so that way you're in a good state to take care of the other person. So in general, I'll just say that if you have someone going through mental health in your family or in your circle, just be more mindful and just be more caring and more compassionate. Just try to understand them a bit more and try to just appreciate them the best way you can, and just try to really understand them, understand what they're going through, and see how you can help. Like I said, with the small examples that we've given you guys that maybe you could try and do, hopefully that can help someone else out there. Okay, so the next point is going to be on self-care, because who doesn't need a bit of self-care? So that's on self-care and on personal time. Yeah, point number 7 is going to be on self-care. Okay, so it's really important that you take a break from everything and you just take time for yourself. Personally, I feel like I do this like often, because I'm very used to doing things like alone. Like for example, just going out for dinner or going out for movies. Like if I don't have anyone to go with me, I do these things alone. If I want to go for a movie that I really want to watch and I'm very into movies, I'll go alone. I'll go into the cinema and I'll watch the movie alone. If I want to go for dinner and go into like a nice restaurant, again, I will go alone if I don't have anyone to go with. Most times I take the time for myself, and again, it's not about having the person to go with. Actually, it's more about you just being aware that you want to do something and you want to enjoy the time, and you can enjoy the time by yourself. So you just have to take that acknowledgement. Something else you could do is go a bit broader and take like a trip alone, or just take a small mini vacation, like a weekend getaway by yourself. So it's just really important for you to recuperate and just be alone with your thoughts. It just allows you to know yourself better and to kind of just know your mind. It allows you to really be one with yourself, to really understand yourself and to really immerse yourself in you. It allows you to just take a self-interest in yourself. And part of my self-care and my personal time is I also like taking massages, because as a chef you're standing most of the time, so your feet get really tired. So honestly, a massage is just it's heavenly. Yes, and you could definitely also implement some reading in there when you're taking your personal time, or when just getting to know your thoughts and be one with your thoughts. Also, you could make some notes, just write down some notes, or go into Evernote and just put down notes of what you're thinking, ideas you have, whatever is rambling in your head, just jot down everything. So point number 8 is keep learning. So the older you get, to be honest, you're always learning new things. And like I mentioned earlier, like especially if you're in business alone or you're a solopreneur, like you're learning a lot of things by yourself. You're learning earlier, like I said, to do accounts, to do contracts, to market yourself. That's like online marketing, let's say creating a website. You're learning all these things, so you always have to kind of stay sharp, or just be willing to know that you don't know everything, and just embrace learning from the people that know. The person could be older than you, it could be younger than you, it doesn't matter. Just be ready to learn from the person who's willing to teach you, is what I would say. Yeah. And that's also mainly with chefs, I would say, because most times whatever you're taught, like in school, most chefs that I've encountered tend to be very set in that way. And so sometimes it's good to just learn that you can tweak it a little bit, and it's a different thing, or it can still be the same thing, but you can cook it in a different method. So point number 9 is close to keep learning, which is be curious. And that's true for almost everything. So whatever it is that you want to do, just be curious to know more about it. Try and just make yourself more aware. One of the things I remember for me was funny enough, when I was younger, my dad he'd always have like a scientific talk, and him and my sister would go on and on and on about the planet and the universe and everything, and I was always blank. I'm not going to lie, I hated science. I was very blank, and he'll always be like, you never have any questions, you never ask anything, how will you know anything? I'm like, I don't know, it wasn't interesting. But then once I got into cooking and if you're in my cooking class, they can attest to this, I was the person who was always asking questions. Like, I was so immersed in it that I was always asking questions. We'll be going for break and I'll be like, chef, I have a question, because that's what you'd call the senior chef. Your lecturer would call them chef instead of sir. Anyway, so that's what I would ask, and people get so mad at me. They're like, we might be going for lunch, we might be going for breaks, so people get quite upset. So basically, just be curious about learning. And even once you leave school, so example with me, once you leave and you're cooking for people, or you're cooking the restaurant business, or whatever business it is you're doing, just be curious to learn more. So example for me, with the clients that I've taken on board, where you have like an expatriate client and you don't know how to cook a certain meal from their country, be open to learning it. If the client wants you to make food in a certain way, you have to be open to that. You can't just go in and be like, no, but we make mashed potatoes this way, so I'm not going to add any garlic into them, you know, something like that. Like, you have to be open to learn the different cultures and the different ways of just doing things. So just be curious. So also, if right now you find yourself you're not curious about something, maybe you just haven't found what it is that you're curious about, or you just don't know. And one of the things that can help you is by trying it out. When you try out something, then you know whether you like it or not. That's you being curious by trying out different things, and that's honestly the only way you know what you like or what you don't like. So moving on to point number 10. I think we're in point number 10. This one is really important to me. So be a compassionate teacher, or be a compassionate leader. So if you're teaching, let's say like a domestic help, how to cook, you'll notice like maybe your language level is not at the same level. Maybe you understand something differently, maybe your Kiswahili is not as good, or your English is not as good. So you have to find a way to communicate. You have to be willing to communicate with the other person for them to learn, and also teach someone something to learn at their level. So basically, if I'm a chef and yes, I've gotten training and I want to teach someone to cook, because for me my customer base is the home cook, and I'm trying to teach them how to cook, I can't teach them with the chef lingo. I can't go there and be like, oh yeah, cut this into a chiffonade, you know, or cut this into a batonette. I can't say that. You have to say, cut this into dices, and then show them what a dice is. Basically, you have to relate to the person at the level they're in if you want them to relate to you. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your time, and it doesn't make the client happy, it doesn't make you happy. So you have to be able to relate to the person that you're trying to teach. You have to be open about it, and you have to be humble about it. Also, on teaching, be a teacher who basically instills the value of what it is you're teaching. So for example, if you're teaching, like I said, a home cooking class, or when I was training like chefs in a restaurant, one of the things, just try and train them to realize that the knowledge they're learning from you is their own. So it's their own value. You're instilling the value into them, so they're not seeing it like they're doing it for you. So basically, try and teach the person like whatever skills you're teaching them, it's for them to better their life. So try and teach people from that perspective, that whatever it is you're trying to get them into, it's to better their lives and to better themselves. Also, on being a teacher, you don't have to be like a professional or anything like that. You could just be an older person, or an adult, or like an elder brother, sibling, like whatever it is. Just basically whatever habits or like good behavior you want to instill in someone who looks up to you, especially if they look up to you as like an authoritative figure, or someone who has like a leadership quality, and someone is looking up to you. Just be willing to embrace it and just teach the person the qualities that you'd like to see in others. So lesson number 11 is to be nice and respectful to people around you. And if for no other reason, you can do it for a selfless reason, because it's going to make you feel good about yourself, and it's going to make you feel nice about yourself. But basically, that's what happens when you're nice and respectful to other people. They feel that way, they feel valued, they feel like you care about them. So if you show that, they're going to reciprocate the same thing back. And even if they don't, just be nice. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's a really big one. Yeah, be nice and respectful to people. It costs you nothing. Yes, so point number 12 is to be cool, calm, and collected. Okay, so sometimes things maybe are not going to work out. There's going to be like a lot of heat, whatever it is, especially like, I'll give this an example, like being in the kitchen. Like sometimes things are not going to work out, dishes are not going to be made the way you want them to be made. Maybe a catering gig you've done is not going to work out the way you wanted it to be. Maybe you did a lesson and you are not there on time, and maybe clients are upset. Whatever it is, just acknowledge your own doing into it and just accept it, and just be calm about it and be cool about it. Because if you're calm about it, then the other person is going to be calm about it, even though it's like a moment of, you know, things are all over the place. So if you're calm about it, it shows the other person that you're also calm. So basically things don't go out of hand, and it's also easier to solve things when you're calm than when you're not. And to be honest, being in the hotel industry, for me, that's something I feel like you really have to be calm, because you'll be in the kitchen and orders will not be coming out, and they'll take a long time to come out, or things will finish and they still orders, and you'll start to like, panic is not even the right word. It's like you'll get really flustered, you'll get like really angry at people. It's like, oh my god, I'm going to kill someone, because that's how it feels. You're like, oh, you know, that's how it feels. But you have to be calm about it, because then if you don't get it together, then your team isn't going to get it together, and the whole shift is going to be a nightmare. So you need to learn to be calm. And most of my friends tell me that. They're like, oh, you know, you stay calm. Like, I don't know how you don't get fazed by things. Yeah, I guess you just kind of master being calm about things and just being not very agitated by anything. To be honest, it takes a lot to really piss me off. So just be calm. It helps like in everything. It's going to transcend from your career to home life to basically any relationships you have, friendships, family life, whatever it is. It's just being calm transcends through. So try to be more calm. And on being more calm, lesson number 13, if I'm not wrong, yeah, lesson number 13 is embrace being lost. So basically, sometimes you might feel like things are not going your way, and even though you're doing what you want to do, for example, like I said earlier, being a chef, cooking, even though you're doing that, sometimes you just feel low. You just feel like maybe you don't know what you're doing, maybe you shouldn't be doing this anymore. You start having like self-doubt. You start worrying, maybe things are not going to work out, maybe I should have done A, B, and C. What if this doesn't go well? What am I going to do? It's basically you start to like go like into a spiral of not very good thoughts. And you just have to just allow yourself to be lost, but don't get lost in your own mind for too long. And also don't get lost in anything that has not worked out like you wanted it to for very long. Just embrace it and move on. Also, being lost sometimes comes in once you start going that spiral of doubting yourself, feeling like you don't belong, that sort of thing. Then the imposter syndrome, yeah, that's usually what they call it, yes. Then you start to compare yourself with others, so now it becomes like a comparison game, and you won't win that game because now you're comparing yourself to someone else and not comparing yourself to your previous self or where you were before in life, which you should be trying to get better. So basically, allow yourself to get lost in the moment. Just take it as it is, appreciate the being lost, be in that moment, embrace it, but don't stay there for too long. So after you embrace being lost, point number 14 is to appreciate the milestones you've achieved, or in Kenya you could say the kilometers you've achieved. Basically, just appreciate where you've come from, because wherever you were maybe 20 years, not 20 years ago, when you were 20 years, and now when you're 30, turning 30, is not the same place you are, or at least it shouldn't be. So just appreciate the small milestones you've had to go through to actually get there. So just be thankful, because not everyone has come as far as you've come. So just be thankful of every small thing you've achieved. And also just remember that maybe when you are 20 or 21 or 22, 25 even, the things you wanted to achieve that maybe now you've achieved at 29 or 30, that you don't see as a big deal, at some point of time you wanted those things and now you've achieved them. So you need to appreciate that, because sometimes we forget what you wanted to achieve at a certain age. So just appreciate your milestones. In other words, just appreciate, be appreciative of everything. And finally, my top lesson, though this were in no order at all. So number 15 is self-development or personal development. So I don't know how you feel about this topic, but honestly, one of the things you can do for yourself is just become more aware in being interested in who you are, be interested in knowing yourself, be interested in trying to make yourself a better version, be interested in trying to develop yourself. Basically become interested in yourself, because you're your own champion. Like when you're interested in yourself, and this is not like in a selfish way, like it's just trying to know who you are, because when you're able to know who you are, then you can give a better service to someone else. Knowing who you are, honestly, it allows you to be a better version of yourself. So it allows you to take a break when you know you need to take a break, the personal time that I talked about earlier. It allows you to do that because you know yourself. Also, it allows you to say no with confidence, because maybe the things someone is asking you to do that just aren't in alignment of what you want to achieve for yourself, or what is in alignment with your own core. So you say no to them. So it's easier for you to say no just because you know what it is you want, and you've taken the time to develop yourself. And that can come from anything. You can read books on this, you can go online, you can Google, you can go to YouTube. I mean, YouTube is one of the best places because you can watch all these, let's say, the motivational stuff, but you can also watch the inspirational stuff. Because being interested in yourself and developing self-development, it's not about the motivational and inspiring and be like, "Ooh, yeah." It's about taking the action. So when you watch these videos and they ask you to analyze yourself and state from 1 to 5, how do you feel you do in relationships? How often do you call people? Do you text people? Like, it allows you to know yourself, because you write that down and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not doing this, maybe I could be doing this. So for example, for me, I'll give one, health-wise. Right now, I'm not doing that great, I'll be honest. But I am aware of that. And if you notice my YouTube channel, you'll notice that most of the recipes I've been sharing are more health conscious, because that's just something I realized that I've kind of let go down, and I'm trying to be on a better track. So basically, just knowing yourself, basically just taking the path of self-development, allows you to really know yourself and be okay with who you are in your own skin. It allows you to just be you. In other words, it allows you to be you, and to be not apologetic for that, to just be you and to be a better version of you. And then finally, I'm going to add on a bonus lesson, which is going to be on time flies. Yes, I know it's very cliche, but it's honestly true. When you're younger, when you're 20, 25, you look at things as if you don't have the time, or you're not good enough, you don't have the skill. You look at things that way, also from a mindset of kind of like lacking. You're always looking at things like, maybe I can't do this because I don't have this. You don't really appreciate where you are or the time that you have. And then when you're older, you also look at it that way. You're like, oh, I don't have the time to do A, B, and C. I don't have the time to do this. If I was young, I could have done this. It's like from a time of regret, which it shouldn't be. You should be looking at things of what can you do now that you're this age, what can you still do. Basically, just get stuff done. Whatever it is you're putting off, just get it done. So I guess I'm going to wrap things up. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Maybe I might have rambled on a bit on some points. I hope maybe it wasn't too long. I'd also like to thank you guys for watching the video. If you've watched for this long, I don't know how long the video is going to be, but if you've watched for this long, and appreciate you guys for watching it, and appreciate the subscribers I have so far. Thanks guys for subscribing to the channel and for liking the videos. I really appreciate that. And to all the guys who leave comments, again, I'm very thankful for that, so thank you so much. So if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. I'll appreciate that. And if you have any questions, like I said, for the month of September, I'm going to be answering more questions, so Q&A questions, maybe some more things about me, some kitchen tips, that sort of thing. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So remember to subscribe to the channel, and of course, say goodbye to my younger self. Okay, so I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.